5 of Season 18 here on the Virtual Grip Network. My name's Justin Prince. We'll be joined alongside Taylor Burris in just a little bit, while their producer Trevor Greenfield get ready to approach that all-vital midway portion of the campaign. It's been a season filled with plenty of ups and downs, to say the very least, but these drivers all set to showcase what they can do tonight here at the virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway, a facility that, keep in mind, came into play during 2020 on the iRacing service, and ready to showcase what it can do. This scan from the 1980s in terms of how it throws it back to back in the day racing. It's a facility that these days is hosting real world competition in the next few weeks, in fact, for many of its competitors for the return to motorsports here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Plenty to talk about when it comes to tonight's racing here at North Wilkesboro. We'll talk about the point standings first of all, and how things are faring out in terms of the championship as things look to settle themselves on in. Currently, the drivers are in the midst of their final practice in preparation for tonight, but plenty more to discuss when it comes to how the battling has fared out for many of our drivers in regards to the championship. As you can see, Austin Belke has taken the advantage in the lead over Justin Morton and Matthew Thunhorst. J.R. Shepard is also in the conversation early, with Donnie Moore and Kurt Smith in the top 6. Michael Goodman, Joseph Sagawa, and Joseph Snyder, along with Ryan Seneker, your top 10 up in the standings so far entering the night. Plenty of drivers have also made starts this season. As a matter of fact, a grand total of 33 entries registered for the season. So far, 25 have scored points this campaign. So as these drivers get ready, it's North Wilkesboro on the tap tonight for our drivers. 0.63 miles for today's facility. This racetrack throwing back to the 1980s here on iRacing. And it sees hot track conditions of 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 degrees is the air temperature for tonight's action. The wind at 9 miles an hour to the north, that's facing turns 1 and 2. And what people don't realize is this racetrack is built on a hill. So it's downhill for the run up to 1 and 2, uphill for 3 and 4, setting up different lines for our drivers to have to face tonight. As these drivers get themselves ready for tonight's action, let's take a look at how things are faring out in final practice. It's Justin Morton who leads the way in the session with an 18 flat, an 18.006 specifically, over J.R. Shepard, Matthew Thunhorst, Kurt Smith, and Kenny Kibbe, the top 5 of the practice session. Of note with Thunhorst, he is someone that we've seen be very quick here in past competition. Same can be said for J.R. Shepard when it comes to North Wilkesboro. It's not an easy racetrack, to say the very least, to be able to battle it out, to be able to secure victories. But with how the championship's faring out, the pressure could be on for some of these drivers with how razor thin the margins are, with 4 drivers separated by just 4 points entering North Wilkesboro. As the drivers work their way around the racetrack, I'd like to take to remind you that tonight's coverage is brought to you by Gargamel's Kitchen, a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. At their office at 2045 South Valenti Street, or give them a call at 720-707-6178. Down to the final 50 or so seconds in tonight's session. It's worth noting Steven Spies has jumped up to a tie for 5th in practice with Kenny Kibbe. You see the difference in some of the times being recorded around the racetrack with some of the various splits. The long run pace has always been a critical part of this series, always been a critical part of being able to secure victories. Here in this series, Thunhorst has been strong at that. Morton's been getting better and better at that to be in the conversation for the title run. Morton, in fact, running 18 ones last time by. This time by, picks it up with an error 18-1. All of that's to close up the final practice for these drivers. 20 minutes they had to work with to prepare for tonight's action. It's time to see how they'll start in the next moment or so as the drivers will take the checker flag to final practice. With that, it's time to get ready for Race 5 of Season 18, North Wilkesboro Speedway on tap tonight. The invert has been set, and it's time to look at how they will start here tonight at North Wilkesboro. On the pole tonight, it's Justin Morton alongside Joseph Snyder. The 39 will be starting in front of Donnie Moore in the 26. J.R. Shepard starts in 4th tonight with Austin Belke in the 5th position. Then it's Matthew Thunhorst, Michael Goodman, and Kurt Smith, your top 8. Joe Segala starts in 9th tonight, with Bruce Pearson rounding out your top 10. 11th goes to Todd Liston, with Stephen Hilbert in 12th position. Kevin Moody starts 13th. Kenny Kibbe, starting deep in the field, is in 14th, when Steven Spees in 15th. 16th goes to John Hine, and Chris Davis, the 17 entrants here tonight. You see some of the paint schemes throughout the background as these drivers get ready to go. So the gridding process is complete. All drivers making it to the starting grid for tonight. 100 laps up on the board from North Wilkesboro. Lap times in the 18-second bracket, so approximately about 3 laps per minute. These drivers look to have a clean run to the finish. It's a racetrack that, in Grand National Series competition, seen a range of either caution precautions down the front straightaway in the past, or long green flag runs for the whole entire race. We may see either or here tonight. So all 17 drivers are ready to go. One more pace lap before we get underway. Tire wear going to be expected to be a major key to tonight's victories here tonight, to be able to try and come away with the W. As well, the passing can be very difficult here at North Wilkesboro. So trying to execute cleanly and efficiently could become a major key along that outside groove in particular, which could come into play for many drivers. All set and ready to go. 17 drivers. Race 5 of Season 18, all set from North Wilkesboro. Pace car is off, green flag is out. We're underway from North Wilkesboro. And Justin Morton jumping up to a massive lead off at the start. Snyder holds on to second for now to open up the race. J.R. Shepard trying to figure out a way to clear for third. Does so on the outside with Matthew Thunhorst joining the fray. Thunhorst clearing by Moore. Moore trying to keep it conservative to start off this race, letting drivers go from the get-go. And for those wondering, yes, that is a different look 24 car. That's in 6th position behind Moore. That is Austin Belke, dressing up as J.R. Shepard tonight. Both cars near identical in their color schemes and looks, except for the back end of the race cars this evening. So keep that in mind with that as you watch along with the traffic. Speaking of how things are faring out up at the front, the lead is already evaporating for Morton. He jumped up to half a second from the get-go. Now he's being swarmed by Snyder and Shepard. Shepard and Morton using the second line. Snyder using the first for the entry. And the tough thing about this track is trying to set up the exit. Snyder, poor exit, gets hit in the back end by Snyder, holds on to it. Snyder able to hold on to it after the shot from Shepard, rather. Joseph Snyder amongst those who is looking for a solid finish. Snyder currently amongst the top 10 of the point standings, top 12 should say in the point standings. 117 points scored entering tonight. Taking a different look to those numbers as well tonight in the best stop machine. Second line being utilized by Shepard, trying to set up the diamond line as we continue to keep it clean. Just as I say that, John Hine spins it out. 3 others join him. Caution is out of the back of the field. Kevin Moody, Chris Davis, Stephen Hilbert. Amongst those involved in our first caution of the night, coming up towards the end of lap 9. And some of them just barely avoiding losing a lap here, possibly. Trying to gather it back up will indeed force the wave as Chris Davis. Those eyes are big. That car is damaged. And the St. Louis-based driver John Hine immediately with some trouble in the Gambler Motorsports machine. The other 3 cars stacking it up in the midst of turn 2 afterwards. Moody having to come in to take the faster pair already in this race because of this. This drops all of them to the back. And you see right here, this is where they try to keep up with the pace car. And now they've sorted each other out, and some of them have taken fast repairs here, including Moody. Back to live action. Chris Davis taking the fast repair himself. Hine and Hilbert do not take repairs this caution flag. So Justin Morton in the race lead, Joseph Snyder second, Shepard, Thunhorst, Moore the top 5 on the racetrack. Hilbert is back in 14th after the spin. And Morton's been very successful throughout the campaign, that's why he's in the championship fight. Not going to be easy though, with Shepard and Thunhorst beside him and behind him. This upcoming restart. As Barney Flagman waves the caution flag in happiness, coming up 2 to go. Sonoma, California-based driver looking for the title. What's been a championship that has nearly come to be, but in the most cases eluded him. Right now would be the points leader if things were to stay the way they are, but it's very early in this race. Belke, for reference, back in 6th position still. Has not been able to find a way around Donnie Moore yet. Off to the 1 to go signal. Morton, Snyder, Shepard, Thunhorst, Moore, Belke, Goodman, Smith in the inversion spots. Pearson and Segala at the top 10. All set to go as the iRacing pace car makes its way off to turn 4. Morton in control of the field. Small restart box here. Green flag waves back underway. A good launch from Morton. Able to clear on by Snyder already, and a bit of near contact with Shepard. Snyder trying to hold on to the bottom. Now it's taken 3 wide. Now 2.5 wide as Shepard gets squeezed to the curbing. Mr. Evie getting squished up the track, still 3 wide down the front straightaway. Something's got to give as Thunhorst able to pass them all on the outside, up to 2nd. Shepard tries to dive it inside, can't make it stick. Here comes Belke now for the battle for 4th. Joseph Snyder, 1 defensive move, has turned into near contact with Donnie Moore for 5th. Now he gets turned for 5th. Snyder gets the job finished. Todd Liston slams in the wall. Caution is out as Kenny Kivy and John Hyde crash into it. You could see that coming with how that was playing out. Snyder trying to get to the bottom as quick as possible. That did not work out in any way, shape, or form, squishing him to the grass. The second part of the incident, pretty big though, with Hine and company. Goodman getting contact, Spees getting turned around, few cars getting stopped against the wall. Take another look. This is Joseph Snyder's on board. Take a listen. Snyder able to keep on going, but that does collect several more, including Kibbe for repairs. John Hine getting to the pit lane for a second time already in the race. Davis and Moody still laps down after the incident. You see how bad the damage is for John Hine. Lots of wrinkles along the side of that race car. Coming up to lap 20 already. John Hine, somebody we've seen in the broadcast booth a few times throughout the year. Looking to settle on in, now that the trouble has ensued a couple times. Justin Morton, Matthew Thunhorst, the friends ready to battle it out. And then the Twinsies ready to battle it out from the second row. All four of these drivers looking mighty quick from the get-go tonight. Still very early in this season, we'll say, for these drivers. But keep in mind, a busy slate of races on tap coming up soon for many of these drivers. The next race on the schedule, for example, Southern National, will be July the 30th. Catch that here on the Virtual Grip Network, followed by Oxford Plains, Lanier, and its Raceplex, Martinsville Speedway, Langley, and Myrtle Beach to round out the season. Here's a look at the schedule in full as we get ready to approach that midway point fully the upcoming week with Southern National. All can be caught here on the Virtual Grip Network. "79 laps to go. Morton, Thunhorst, Shepard, Belke, Mooring, Goodman, your top six, with Pearson and Kurt Smith. Pace car is off. Green flag is out. Back underway. Great launch for Thunhorst on the outside, looking hungry for the lead. Shepard trying to work the bottom. Thunhorst squeezed up in the wall, just avoids the contact. Shepard able to dive it for second spot now. Morning giving a little bit of space this time. Shepard misses a bit of the bottom though in the 98. Still side by side for second. Thunhorst trying to find a way to give a bit of space. Wanting to clear, slides up the track nearly to the wall though for the track exit. Thunhorst gives up the ghost, gives up the top line, goes back to third position as a result. Now it's J.R. Shepard, who's had plenty of success here in the past. I'm ready to see what he can try and crack a lack at Justin Morton. J.R. Shepard from Dunlop, trying to utilize that second groove a little bit more on the rotation compared to Morton and Thunhorst in the midst of this battle for the race lead. Not able to dive into the inside quite yet as the tire saving starts to become prevalent. Of note, Belke has cleared Donnie Moore for fourth position and the pack on behind. Bruce Pearson now is rounding out the inversion spots, but has Speeds right there with him along with Kibbe in the back of the pack. For the race lead, Shepard shows the nose. Morning gives the space. Morning goes up the hill. J.R. Shepard to the point at the stripe this time. Not fully clear yet though, as Shepard still tries to give a little bit of space now to Morton. Morton tries to give a little space back. Thunhorse trying to push the issue, clears on by for the race lead. J.R. Shepherd to the lead, Thunhorse up to second just about. So the top three separated by a couple tenths of a second on the racetrack. Austin Belke, 1 second behind all this, is trying to stay within arm's reach. And with that, as we follow on with Austin Belke from the 4th position, we welcome the second man for our booth, Taylor Burris. Taylor, do you have a copy?
Loud and clear here, Justin, and I gotta say I apologize for this. A lot of audio issues having to we got it fixed. Hopefully we can race here at North.
We heard a bit of him, but still, Austin Belke is losing ground to Morton in the midst of this.
Got a lot of work to do here as we ride on board with him down the back straightaway, working into turns 3 and 4, trying to get up to Morton, who's about 6/10 up the road, but he's running out of time. A little puff of smoke out of turn 1.
Senior contact for the race leaders, as well as Matthew Thunhorst starting to really push the tempo on the entries compared to Shepherd. That time gap is growing. Here's a look at Shepherd, but it's Thunhorst behind, who is trying to reach out at that 98 machine. No moves expected quite yet in the midst of things, but we'll say this for 9th and 8th. Kibbe is trying to figure out a way around. Meanwhile, one car trying to hobble around, you just seen, to the bottom of the track. Could make things interesting. It's Kevin Moody with a problem. Moody has just dived it hard to the pit lane and just taken the speeding penalty to get off the circuit. This is what happened to Kevin Moody. He was in a battle with a rookie in Hilbert. Helped him around, no caution. So Kevin Moody, the first driver off the circuit during the green flag run here. 62 to go this upcoming time by. Shepherd continues to lead. He's led 10 of the 37. Morton led the first 27 of this event. Starting to stretch out his legs. By the way, as Morton is dropped back to 3rd, bumping and baiting for the inversion spot pole for next time out is underway for 8th. 7th spot, should say, with Spees, Goodman, Kibbe, all trying to sort themselves out. Goodman running an invert scheme tonight. Kibbe trying to find a place to go. Nowhere to go for Kibbe quite yet. Goodman drifts up the track. Here comes Spees, nearly clearing and just about held on to by Goodman. Down the back straightaway, Goodman now losing the 8th position, dropping back behind Kenny Kibbe. So Michael Goodman, the New York-based driver, slips on back to the 9th spot, 5 seconds back of your race leaders. Speaking of the race leaders, they have ditched Justin Morton in 3 and 4 by 1 second and growing by a 10th a lap right now. So on it are your top two, 18 6s to Morton's 18 7s. See how different marks have been in terms of the times. Last time by within 1/1000th of a second. Thunhorse showing a little bit of the nose, can't get there fully. He is on the back bumper. The crossover attempt for Thunhorse nearly off into the grass. Nowhere to go yet for J.R. Shepherd. Hilbert, in terms of traffic, is up the road trying to run the high side. We'll see if that plays a factor in the battle for this race lead. Already coming up to halfway through this one. Traffic quickly getting on by the outside, nearly up into the wall, in fact, to let him go. Morton also able to get by quickly. 2/10 still the gap between them. Of note, Kenny Kibbe wants more. He wants 7th. Kibbe starting towards the back tonight after missing the last run. Looking to the inside, hits the grass. Spees clears him. Spees able to hold on to the spot for now. Up at the very point, though, Mr. Evie looks to work his way towards that inside at any point. Shepard not giving the space yet for that slip up. It's been close, though. Right here, turn 2, Thunhorse has been stronger. Little more roll for Matthew Thunhorse this time to the corner. No dice yet. As here's a look at the in-car. You can see the hand movement pretty smooth on these corner exits. So just a counter bit of steer towards the right on the exit. Back behind them, Spees and Kibbe back at it for 7th. Spees trying to stay on the second line, looking tight. Kenny Kibbe able to dive in the corner, gets to the nose of the quarter panel. Kibbe able to rotate the bottom. Does Spees give it up? Nearly does, but Kibbe trying to still stick it out. The Cool Ray machine holds on to the fender, but doesn't have enough to hold on firmly. Meanwhile, Donnie Moore trying to hold off Kurt Smith. This is for 5th position. Kurt Smith a +2 in the race. Donnie Moore a -2 so far. They stay calm for now. For the race lead once again, though, just past halfway. Thunhorst has the run. Again, no place to take it, though. That has become the difficult thing in terms of setting up the pass here tonight, is trying to find a way to build up the run and be able to get to the inside without making contact. That's what the cordial battling has become here between these two, with Shepard parking the bus. Top 2 still settling on out amongst them by 2 seconds over Morton and Belke. Then it's Donnie Moore and Kurt Smith battling still for the 5th position, with Smith trying to find any way to do things differently, sliding the tires though on this corner exit. Behind them, meanwhile, this is now for 8th. Goodman inside, trying to get the race on with Spees. Joseph Snyder in the popcorn seat. Goodman just about clear, just about does. Holds on to it, though, is Spees. Snyder spooks him, though. Goodman clear for 8th spot. Snyder wants 9th back. Back to the inside, Snyder trying to roll down on the bottom. Going very flat on the entry, Snyder getting all the space he needs, though, to be able to gather it up. Oh, wow, Spees, they says thank you, and goes back to the 3rd line. For the race lead again, Thunhorst showing the nose that time, couldn't get the dive fully committed, though. Looking on board as he continues to try and maintain this gap, if not close it up fully here. See just how close they are getting on these corner exits to the grass right there. Within a few inches. Already down to 38 laps to go in this race. These two have been the kings of the field here today. Meanwhile, behind them, Snyder looking to crack at Spees again. Going to the inside, nearly to the apron part of the flat for the entry. Uphill they go for 3 and 4. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana-based driver, not able to make the pass quite yet. Snyder, remember, started off in second before that spin earlier, nearly gets into Spees this time. Coming up to 35 laps to go. Of note, Hilbert has pulled the car behind the pit wall and is now coming in the 10 machine, looking like we're down to 15 runners, both rookies, having stops. Boy, Chris Davis laps down. Speaking of lap down, about to go under that mark is Greased Lightning, Bruce Pearson. Pearson running the wall with Todd Liston. Both of them avoiding contact as Thunhorse lost a bit of ground to Shepard with the traffic. Big buffer to the next car, Joe Sagawa. Lengthy buffer, in fact, by at least 4 or 5 seconds. These two have been duking it out all race. For those just tuning in here on the Virtual Grip Network, Shepard and Thunhorse going at it for the race lead once again. Bit of a scrape to the wall this time from Shepard as that forces a change in the line. No run yet for Thunhorse. Still has not been able to crack the equation of how to pass the 98 machine on the track. It's worth noting, in the midst of all things, Kibbe has reeled in Donnie Moore within 0.3 of a second. So that likely about to intensify for that fight. Next little bit here with Kibbe on the charge and running in the same ballpark as your race leaders on pace. Kibbe still trying to utilize that second line to be able to try and make that move work, to build up the run on Donnie Moore. We've seen Be Cordial. Kibbe gets into the wall, though, goes up the racetrack. Another mistake from Kibbe. By the way, Austin Belke has picked up oodles of time, you may have noticed, in terms of lap times, in part because Justin Morden had gotten stuck around with Liston, who's in the wall. Liston rides the wall in front of Austin Belke. Belke puts him back in towards the wall. Clears on by him, Belke. Trying to close up on Morden. Right now, Belke trying to gain points to grow the point gap amongst himself over Morden. Looking right on board with Austin Belke. 25 laps to go, this time by the stripe. Belke needing to close up 0.8 of a second or so. That time by Belke a little bit quicker than Justin Morden, but just. See the difference. Morden on the bottom, Belke on the top in terms of time difference. Only the 10th gain so far throughout the past 2 laps might not be enough long term here. See how that interval, by the way, has shuffled about. You see Belke gain time, lost some ground, now gaining it back like a staircase, just about. Outside of that middle peg of the stairs around lap 74. There it is, shuffling around. Now looks like more of a natural staircase as he's gained ground compared to when they reached the traffic before. Try this one more time with Taylor Burris. Taylor, so far the racing, nice and clean, just a couple cautions early going.
It certainly has been a very smooth race for the most part, especially for drivers like J.R. Shepard and Matthew Thunhorse, who have checked out on the competition here so far as they work their way down the back straightaway, heading into turns 3 and 4, Justin. But with 20 laps to go here at the famous North Wilkesboro Speedway, anything is possible as we see now the 24 machine of Austin Belke still trying to hunt down the number 9 of Justin Morton.
This does have points implications as we talked about here tonight, Taylor. Belke, the points leader. Morton, 150 points coming in. Right now, they are tied.
It just shows you how competitive this championship series is here for the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. As we were riding on board with Austin Belke, who is teammates, of course, to your race leader, J.R. Shepard, really trying to put the pressure on Justin Morton in order to see if he can maybe get ahead in this championship run here as we're closing in through the halfway point of the season right now. Drivers are really trying to get every single point necessary in order to get the best finishing spot for this season.
Doing the quick math right, too, because of the 3-position difference with Shepard, who is 4 back, it could nearly be a 3-way tie up at the front. That's how tight the championship is. Matthew Thunhorse could potentially make it a near 4-way if he's able to take the lead, or rather, get himself swapped around Shepard to make things interesting there, too. So a lot of intriguing moments for the championship. 15 to go. Lots of implications here. Down coming to the closing stages. 15 to go this time.
And it is really spicing up between your top two as Matthew Thunhorse and that Forge Racing Ford trying to really put the pressure on the multiple series champion J.R. Shepard as they head back into turns 1 and 2. Nose to tail lined up between the two competitors out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Shepard running a very consistent line here. Look at the brakes glowing on that Ford Mustang out of turn number 4. Gets a great run off corner exit, but not able to really stay any gains right now between these two. Both of them running almost identical lap times.
Within a tenth, this is Thunhorse's chance to the inside of Shepard. Coming to 13 to go. Shepard backs the corner up. Thunhorse nearly loses it. Shepard holds on to the outside though. 13 to go. Thunhorse trying to find a way to clear.
Out of turn 2, he tries to clear him. I think he might be able to do it. Nope, Thunhorse sends it back into the inside. Side by side, battle for the race lead. Thunhorse noses out, but does he have the run to get to the line? No, Shepard still holds on there as they head back into turn 1. Will we see side by side action for the closing stages here? Lap traffic up ahead between your top two.
That traffic still ways up the road. Could be a fact with 5 to go if they keep up this tempo. 12 laps to go. Down to the 11 to go mark. Thunhorse still trying to find a way to get the edge around the track. Last time by, he got the lead lap. Can he get the full-on lead into 3? No, Shepard still keeping the tempo up, near even on the gas again as they go down the hill.
Still side-by-side battle for the race lead. J.R. Shepard, Matthew Thunhorse swapping lead out of each and every single corner as they continue to go side-by-side down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 and 4. Thunhorse sends it in a little bit deeper, but Shepard tries to get the runoff corner exit. Not able to make it work this time. It's still going to be Shepard side-by-side with Thunhorse. Thunhorse, though, led that lap here under 10 to go.
Third lead lap, in fact, for Thunhorse. Now coming to 8 laps to go this time. Thunhorse the closest he's been to clearing now. On the apex, Shepard has to back out of the gas. Matthew Thunhorse up to the race lead. Shepard to the outside, wants to keep it there. No, tries to cross over instead.
Looks like he clears him. Ooh, a little beating and banging. Contact is made. They try to gather it back up. Back into turn 3 and 4. This is short track racing at its finest. Thunhorse Shepherd now. Thunhorse stretches it out to about a 2-car length advantage over J.R. Shepherd now into turns 1 and 2. 7 laps to go.
Both of them nearly wrecked each other with how loose both of them were getting to get to the inside there. Now Shepherd has lost half a second to Thunhorst. 6 laps to go. Thunhorst looking now to be in the conversation for the points lead by the end of the night with how this has played out. Behind them, Morton and Belke have reached traffic and Joe Segala.
This is going to be interesting to see how Morton can be able to get around Joe Segala. Joe Segala does the smart thing, goes to the top of the racetrack to allow these two who are battling for the final step of the podium as they come out of turn 4. Morton will clear him. Ooh, big issue right there for Segala as he scrapes the wall. This sends the opportunity for Belke to show his nose out of turn number 2 as you ride on board with the TDR Racing machine as they head back into turn 3.
Off to the bottom goes Belke. Implications pretty big for Belke to clear on by Morton here, nearly to the wall. Last time by, Belke picking up another couple 100ths of a second. The tough thing has been getting side by side. Is it doable in the next 3 laps here on Morton?
It's going to be doable, but the problem is he cannot find that opening he needs in order to make the pass. And Belke running out of time here with 3 laps to go. And Thunhorse really has checked out on J.R. Shepherd.
0.6 of a second for the race lead. In fact, coming to 2 laps to go. Traffic not expected to be a factor here. If anything, they might reach him in the final lap. That could help Thunhorst. Take away a passing chance from Shepherd if he was to somehow close up here. But for Matthew Thunhorst, he's had to work for it all night long. Coming up to the final time around for race 5 of the BRL Super Late Model Series season. Mr. Evie took the pass with 13 to go to set it up. It took about 5 laps to clear on by, but coming out through 3 and 4, Matthew Thunhorst does it again. Thunhorst clears on by, closes it out, and wins at North Wilkesboro.
Talk about a drive for Matthew Thunhorst to be able to get home this checkered flag win and get himself a little bit closer for a chance of maybe winning this championship if he is to run the rest of the season.
Shepherd, Morton, Belke, the top 4 on the track, so we'll see how things fare out. Next time out with the points, my goodness though. What implications as Thunhorst gets to celebrate another victory. And he's looking to do so, starting off with a celebration down the hillside. With a wave towards those RVs.
What a track to win it at. Of course, we know all the excitement around North Wilkesboro with it getting ready to have some late model and modified action here pretty soon. And then, of course, we're going to go dirt racing here in the near future as well. It's just going to make it so exciting to see this actually happening in the real life pretty soon.
So Thunhorst keeps it simple with the stop at the start and finish line. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results for tonight. An eventful one as Matthew Thunhorst takes the victory tonight over J.R. Shepherd, Justin Morton, and Austin Belke, with Kurt Smith and Kenny Kibbe the top 6. Donnie Moore and Michael Goodman round out the inversion spots with Joseph Snyder, Steven Spees, the lead lap drivers. Top 10, Taylor.
In 11th position will be John Hayne, followed by Joe Segala in that 12th position. 13th is Bruce Pearson with Todd Liston 14th. Chris Davis in 15th with Steve Hilbert in 16th. And Kevin Moody rounding out in 17th.
Let's look top to bottom at your unofficial race results. Post-race coverage coming up in just a moment. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network here from North Wilkesboro. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League and its Super Late Model Series here on the Virtual Grip Network. Justin Prince, Taylor Burris with you as we get ready for tonight's post-race coverage here on VGN. Tonight went the way of one Mr. EV. Matthew Thunhorst had to work for it tonight. Matthew Thunhorst, your winner by 0.7 of a second over J.R. Shepard. How would you describe that battle for the win tonight, Mr. EV?
Well, Justin, that was intense because he didn't leave a whole lot of openings, JR didn't. And, I knew something was up as soon as we went in on whatever lap everything kind of went down there. When I finally completed the pass, because I was like, oh, he backed off. I went, oh no, here comes the over-under, and I just tried to sit there and prevent it by, staying low there in the middle and not really track out fully, and kind of put my car in the way, and I knew I had to go, so I mashed it, and about twice my wheel was pointed to about, 3 or 4 o'clock, trying to save and correct the car, because I about wrecked myself doing that, so just thanks to JR for staying off me there, but, because we about wrecked. I don't know, that would have probably been the final caution of the race, and Justin went down the win, but yeah, I know, that was really intense, and every time I kind of get a run going, I'd be like, okay, got it this time, and then the car would just, I'd run 3 a little too shallow and just push tight center and be like, ah. And there at the end, it was just so frustrating because you're like, okay, come on, car, turn. And, you had to wait so long on center in 1 and 3 just for it to bite, so you can go 2 and 4 off. And it was so frustrating because I know for me personally, I was just testing the pedal, pushing me like, are you gonna go? No, not yet. Okay, and just praying the car would go, and kind of worked out at the end though.
Yeah, it definitely looked like an intense battle and a difficult one to be able to set on up. What makes North Wilkesboro in turn, though, so difficult to set up a pass like that? Because we've heard of rhythm passes taking 10, 15, 20 laps. That took you 50 laps to get to that side-by-side, the way you were looking for.
Running with JR a lot, I find that trying to do rhythm really doesn't work. It's just, trying to stay close enough, and then, because I figured, kind of after we had that first little contact where I snuck to his outside almost, and I wasn't there, but we made a little bit of contact, and I was like, okay, I know I'm getting the runs off of 2. I'm getting a good enough run because he was doing kind of that decreasing radius thing that it's kind of his trademark, and he was getting a good run off 4, so I was like, okay, I can stay there, and I kept having to play 1 and 2, and then finally it was just kind of me hitting my marks perfectly to get the run on him to get in there, and just trying to match that up, and I don't know, he probably about 4 or 5 chances there before I did it, and it was just, that's the thing with him, is that he just, even when their chances are so minuscule, it's almost like, kind of like a cat trying to open a door where you see the paw shoot through. He doesn't really leave a lot of big ones, and so it's really difficult because it's just trying to get my puzzle piece to fit together whenever kind of that little window opens up enough to sneak in there, and that's why it takes so long with him, because he's a good driver, and like I said, you get maybe a chance maybe every 10, 15 laps, and if you don't hit it right, you're not going to get in there, and you still have to be good enough to take even a hold of what little window there is, so it's extremely difficult.
Well, the next race on the schedule, it's Southern National. Your thoughts on Southern?
Well, I'll be moving, so this is probably sayonara for me for the season. So.
Oh, where are you moving to?
Back home with family, but the whole problem is just house searching and all that fun stuff, so got a chance to run this weekend, so I came out and did this, but, I don't know when I'll be back. It could be 2-3 weeks. It could be I'll see you next season, just with all the struggles that the housing market has these days, so we'll see, but I'll enjoy watching y'all and all the other guys at BRL for the next, hopefully, couple of weeks, not longer than that. I might go stir crazy.
Just as you entered a potential 3-way tie for the championship for the halfway point, anyone you like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, just you all at Virtual Grip, you, Taylor, and Trevor for broadcasting, Lowell and all the guys in the league. This is a pretty fun race to be a part of tonight and put on a good show, I think. And Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring as usual. And my little PS on the statement. You should know me by now, Justin. This is the 3rd time I've been in a championship hunt and backed out of it. So I'm just a gigantic tease for the audience and you all. And thanks also for everybody who watches. I appreciate it.
Mr. Evie coming away with a victory tonight over J.R. Shepard. I'd like to thank Matthew Thunhorst for the time. Now it's J.R. Shepard with Taylor.
Here with J.R. Shepard coming home P2 tonight. J.R., I gotta say, what was the issue where you could not hold back the hard charge of Mr. EV, Matthew Thunhorse?
Just the setups. So tight once again in these cars, and just doesn't give you any options. And some guys are a lot better at it, and I didn't grow up driving tight setups, so yeah, it's hard to teach somebody 30-something years old to learn how to drive a car. So yeah, just struggling with it, and I didn't do a good job, obviously.
Is there what makes this, with the setup, of course, you pointed out it being so difficult here at this track, what makes this track even more difficult, especially with how this setup is?
Well, this track's very abrasive, so it's always going to wear your tires out no matter what, either the front tires or the rear tires, depending on how the setup is. And yeah, just the way I was driving it tonight, wore out the front tire a little bit more than the rear, and once you do that, the balance is really terrible. So not a lot that you can do. I tried one time and probably shouldn't have lifted and did, but that's just the way it goes.
Well, we head off to Southern National next week, Saturday night. Your thoughts on that circuit, and do you have what it takes to maybe go and recover from that and get a win there?
Probably not. Southern's a great track. It's extremely tough, very line sensitive. I've just never been great there, so we'll work on it next week and see if we can figure something out. But yeah, just right now I'm struggling myself, so I have to work on myself more than anything to try to get better at driving these things.
Well, JR, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, just thanks to the Bootleg Racing League giving us a place to run on Friday and Saturday nights, and to Gargamel's Kitchen for being a great title sponsor for as many seasons as they have with us. It's been very great to have them on board, and of course to all of you guys over at the Virtual Grip Network. We appreciate what you do each and every week, and for making us look good. So thank you guys.
That is, of course, J.R. Shepard coming home P2 as Justin has caught up with another Justin Morton.
Justin Morton coming away with third tonight. What happened with the car? You slipped back in quick after you lost the lead.
Yeah, I was having computer problems and my VR lost tracking on the grid, so it just kind of threw me off going into the race. And this is also one of the tracks that I struggle with at my best, really. So it was kind of just a combination of all the things happening at once. I'm glad this track's on the service, but I wish we could end the race at it because I don't really click gear.
I mean, it could have dirt on it, like it has in the real world.
I would be happy if there's dirt on this place, probably.
Well, either way, when it comes to the season, though, the championship has been in the mix of things. It's been a talking point. Forget if you are full-time or not, because Thunhorse with the victory said he is moving. We know Shepard's been up and down. Are you in or out for the title, for the hokey pokey, for the top spot? With how things are playing out, it could be a tie with Austin Belke tonight, or within 1 point.
Yeah, I looked. Austin is 1 point ahead of me, I think. But yeah, I should be in for the season. It should be a good battle between me and Austin. And I look forward to it. We always have a pretty good battle through the year. It's always fun to battle with him.
The next race is at Southern. How do you feel that championship battle is going to then take a turn for next week to end off the month of July?
I've had really good success at Southern National, so obviously I'm looking forward to it. It feels a lot like a Bristol track almost, and I feel like I'm better at the higher bank stuff, so I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the tracks I enjoy.
Anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, Toll Down Force Racing, Prince of Us for the awesome name, Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring the league, everybody who runs here. It's a great group of guys. Thanks to Lowell for putting it together and running everything. And you guys for doing the broadcast. You do a fantastic job.
Thank you very much for the time, Justin.
Thank you.
Once again, that's Justin Morton, your top three rounded out by him. I'd like to thank him, J.R. Shepard, Matthew Thunhorse for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage. Now, Taylor, your final thoughts on this one?
North Wilkesboro always provides great racing action from start to finish, and we see that, of course, happening here tonight between J.R. Shepard and Matthew Thunhorse. It's sad to see that Thunhorse will not be able to finish out the season. I was really looking forward to seeing a battle between him, Justin Morton, J.R. Shepard, and Austin Belke, but we'll have to see how Shepard, Morton, and Belke will continue on with this championship battle as we head off to Southern National, where we'll see a lot of great racing action there.
And with that, we'd like to thank you once more for tuning in for tonight's coverage here for the Virtual Grip Network. We'd like to thank the presenting sponsor and proud sponsor of the BRL, Gargamel's Kitchen, a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado. Visit their office at 2045 South Monte Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. The next time VGN is on the air for the BRL Super Late Model Series will be Saturday, July the 30th at Southern National Speedway. Coverage starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that once again here on VGN. The next VGN broadcast will be July 26th at 8:50 p.m. with the PGRL Premier Series, live from Pocono. Be sure to tune in for what's expected to be an interesting one for the Tricky Triangle. But with that, it's time to say goodbye. For my co-announcer Taylor Burris, for producer Trevor Greenfield, I'm Justin Prince saying so long, enjoy the rest of your evening. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network. Congratulations to your winner, Matthew Thunhorse from North Wilkesboro.